Welcome everyone. Uh, Welcome to the lecture on probability and statistics. We were looking at addition theorem of probability. Let's look at more. Let's look at something called as conditional probability, and then we would see what is a multiplication theorem, or sometimes called as theorem of compound probability. Okay, so let's look at the thing called as conditional probability. So, what is conditional probability, right? As the name suggests, it must be something to do with some kind of condition, right? Because since its name is conditional probability, it has to do something with some condition, right? So let's take down a definition. The probability, right, of an event B or A, given that an event A or B has already occurred, right, is called as conditional conditional probability of B or A given A or B, and is denoted by probability of B given A, or for the other one it is probability of A given B, right? So probability of an event B, right, is given that an event A has already occurred, is called as probability of B given A, right, and it's called as conditional probability. Similarly, if I look at probability of A, right, given that B has occurred, then we would say that it's probability of A given B, right? So let's take an example quickly and then understand what do you mean by conditional probability, and then we would look at some problems. Okay. Uh, Example: a card is removed, right? And let's see what exactly the problem here. Okay. The problem is about a pack of cards. So what it says is a card is removed, right? I have a 52 cards. First of all, I remove a card and I keep it aside. So what's my first event here? I'm removing one card, okay, the first card, and I'm keeping it aside. Okay. What next is I'm picking another card, or I'm drawing another card from the remaining cards. Say the moment I remove a card and keep it separately, the total remaining cards will be 51, right? Because one card is already removed and kept aside. So I'm choosing now from this 51 cards, not 52, right? So what I want to do is I want to find the probability that the second card is also black, right, given that the first card was also black, right? So let's name this event solution of this. Okay, let A be the event of choosing the first card which was black, or I can say that which is choosing a black card. Okay, whatever you want to say, right? uh, or I say that A be the event of first card, whatever. Okay, doesn't really matter, don't have to say this. Okay, fine. Okay, and B be the event, and let B be the event of choosing, right, the card second time, the card second time, right? So what will happen is I want to check out what is the probability that the second card is black, right? So what is the probability of B, right? Probability of B given, right? A is already given to me, that A is the first event which is already occurred, right? So what is the probability of B, the second event, given that A has already occurred, right? This would be equal to, first of all, A has already occurred, so I have kept one card aside, right? So remaining cards are 51, right? But the card which was removed, right, was a black card. First of all, this event will obviously kind of affect the second event, because we are removing one card, right? So remaining card would be 51. Secondly, what happens is, it says that the second card which was removed was also black, right? So what happens is, one card is removed and that card is also black, so I know that then probability that I'll choose uh next card, right? So what would be the probability that second card is black, right? So what would the probability of second card is black? First of all, black card is already removed, right, and kept aside, so remaining black cards would be not 26 but only 25, right? So this would be the probability of B, right, choosing a second card that is black, such that the first card which was already removed, right, was also a black card, right? Now suppose before the second, okay, so let's look at that. Okay, suppose before drawing the second card, if the first card is replaced, first card is placed again in the pack, then what would be probability of B given A, right? What would be probability of B? Probability of B is choosing second card is black, but first card is already removed, right, and it's kept inside, so I have again 52 cards, right, and all black cards are intact. So what is the probability that second card would be black? That would be 26 by 52, which is same as probability of B, right? So that's what we understand, right? Is this clear? So conditional probability is a probability of event which uh, in which there are two events, such that happening of one event is kind of affects the second event, right? So that's what we mean by conditional probability, right? So let's look at something more. Now here this kind of thing happens because these events are independent. So let's write down what are independent events. What do you mean by independent events? Two events, two events, two events A and B are said to be independent when probability of B given A is same as probability of B. That means, sorry, probability of B does not affect on the first event, right, and probability of A, right, given B is probability of A, right? Is this clear? So that's what we say, that two events are independent. Okay, right? So with this ideas at our disposal, let's look at what do you mean by the compound probability or multiplication theorem of probability. Okay, right? So let's look at that. Let's look at some different pen here so that can kind of, okay. So we have compound probability, or sometimes called as multiplication theorem of probability, right? We don't have a proof of this, but we can understand this, right? What do you mean by multiplication theorem of probability? Okay, let's look at the statement. It says that if A and B are any two events then probability that A and B both will occur is given by probability of A intersection B, and that's given by probability of A into probability of B given A, right? Right, and probability of, if I just replace this, probability of B intersection A, right, this would be probability of B into probability of A given that B has already occurred. Either this you write or this. Okay, so that's the idea. Proof is not there, certainly. Proof omitted, but we can look at the problem. Okay, all right. Let's look at the problems of this theorem in detail, and then we will look at the very important theorem in the context, that is the Bayes theorem. Okay, all right. Let's look at some examples on the compound probability or multiplication theorem. Well, I would try and do few of them, and then we can look at more problems when we solve it in the maybe online or something. So the example is as follows. The question is as follows. What we have is the same example we would take, which we had just taken for conditional probability, right? So that we can understand it better. The scenario is that we're taking a pack of card and we are removing one card and keeping it aside, and we are drawing the second. Then the question is black, the card black, both are red, right? Then third is one black, one is king. Then fourth one is black and one is red, and one king and one. So let's look at this. Let's look at the first question. Before that, let A be the event, right? That card is drawn from the pack for the first time, and P denote the event of choosing a card or drawing a card, whatever it is. Second. So let's look at this. What I want to find is probability of the event that both are. So what will happen is probability of A, if I'm drawing a card, okay, probability of drawing the first card, right, would be if suppose I want to not, so this would be equal to, first of all, A being event. So what's the probability of A here? I'm drawing a first card, right?
So when I'm drawing the first card, I had 26 black cards and altogether 52 cards, right? So first of all, this is probability of A into probability of B given A, right? So this would be equal to, first of all, this probability of A would be 26 over, because first time when I'm drawing a black card, I will have 26 black cards and altogether 52 cards. Second time, when I draw a black card, right, what will happen is I will have only 25 black cards because one card is aside, which I've already removed in the first case, and total card which would remain is 2. This is the probability of B given A, which you have already seen, right? So this comes out to be something like, you can find out how much is this. 1, this is 2, comes out to be 25 over 102, right, which roughly comes up about 0. Verify that. Question number, what is the probability that both are red? Same way, this is equal to probability of A into probability of A B given A, right? When I look, the first card is black, then this would be exactly 26 over 52. And then when you remove first card, which is already red, second card would be red, provided the probability would be 25 over. This also comes out to be 1. That's pretty easy. Both were easy, right? Let's look at the third one. What is the probability that first one is a black card, second one is a king? So third one, use some different marker here. Third one, that probability that one is black, right, and one is king. Okay. This would be equal to, again, probability of A into probability of B even, right? Now probability of first card to be black, right, would be 26 over 52, right? Then I'm removing a black card and keeping it aside. Remember that, right? I'm removing a black card and keeping it aside, right? So I have one black card less, right? So that means I will have 51 cards, right? So this would be 51, right? And what about this? Now there may be two instances. First one is, whatever the card which you have drawn may be a king, right? So if you're keeping it aside, then the total remaining king uh would be in that case would be what uh 3, right? So this would be 3 over 51, right? Plus, or it may be so that this is 26 by 52, and second instance maybe this may not be a king. In that case, right, when you are removing the card, right, which is not a king, right, that would be uh 4 by 2, right? That may not be a king, so all 4 kings are intact. So what is the probability of drawing a king from pack of cards, right? It's 4 by 51. So what comes out to be, well, we'll have to look at this. This is 52 into 51, right? And this comes up with to be 26 common. If I take, this is 3 plus 4, the denominator is common, so it's ones. 26 is common in the numerator, so this is 7, right? So this gets cancelled if I'm not wrong. Is it does it get cancelled? No, sorry. Like, do this, or maybe cancel that out with 3. No. My mistake. I generally am very careless guy. Or maybe I just thought 3 it is, no, 7, right? 51, right? So this guy gets cancelled. This would be 2. So this comes out to be something about 7 over 100 and 102. So this is roughly, if I look at 7 upon 102, then roughly it would be equal to think 0.7. Don't know. Check that out. I'm generally, making mistakes. So this is 0.07. Just make sure that you check that out. Then the fourth problem was, what's the probability that one is black, one is red, right? That would be same as probability that one is black, one is red, right? This would be equal to probability of A into probability of uh, B given A, right? So this must be equal to, if I look at this may be equal to, first of all, the first card which is removed, what's the probability of removing it? It will be a black, right? So this would be, if I, this would be, okay, so first card is black. What's the probability that first card is black? That's 26 by 52 into the second card is red. Now suppose first card which was removed, right? Oh, wait a second. Okay, this would be, if I look at the second card, the first card which I remove is black, would be 26 by 52. And the second card which is removed, if it's supposed to be red, then this would be, because if I'm removing a black card, then 26 red cards would be intact, but the total number of cards would be 1, right? Plus the first card removed may be a red one, right? So this would be 26 by 52, and the second time which I'm removing might be a black card, right? So this would be 25 over kind of so sorry, this is 26 by 51, 26 by 51, because this card is removed to be red one, and second time I'm removing black card, so they don't have, all cards are intact. So this would be equal to, this is the same, so this is be twice 26 51 over 52 and 51, right? 26, what am I doing? So this would get cancelled with one of these, and what will be left is 26 over 51. This comes out to be roughly around around 0.5. I don't know, maybe you just check out the fraction. And the fourth, or the fifth one rather, is, now this is pretty easy. One is king, one is queen, right? They don't have any intersection, right? So probability of one is king and one is queen. They are independent events, right? Taking a king out is kind of independent of, what would be probability that one is king? So I can draw a king, would be 4 over 52 multiplied by, what would be a probability of picking a queen? This would be 4, because the first card which is kept aside is a king. So surely is not a queen, because they don't same, but the cards would be 51. So this would be somewhere around 0.006. Really kindly verify this decimal. Right? That's about first one. Right? Well, I can leave a exercise. Maybe I can kind of do that. But let's I can leave it out as an exercise. Please do this example. Okay, I'll leave it as an exercise for same ideas. I'm just changing the things. So please try this. But the problem is, a committee of 3 members is to be formed from 5 boys and 3 girls. So total number of people I have is 8, right? And I want to do a committee of 3 people from this. It's asked that what is the probability that there's no boys? Okay. This can be used, I mean, this can be found by finding that the probability, so this question is same as what is the probability that all are girls, right? What's the probability that all are girls, right? You can easily verify that. Then probability that there are 2 boys and 1 girl. Okay, this is not a multiplication, I mean, it's kind of multiplication theorem, but then you can look at how the events are, right? Straightforward. two boys and one girl, right? At least one boy, right? At least one boy means can have two girls, one boy, one girl, two boys, or all three boys, right? So there you look at it. So these events here are, I mean, the problem is very much easy because choosing a boy and choosing a girl are independent events. Like a boy cannot be a girl and a girl cannot be a boy, right? So if you look at A be an event of choosing a girl and B be an event of choosing a boy, then A and B doesn't have anything in common. So you don't have to worry about conditional probability because they would be just probability of A into probability of B, right? So what is the probability that there are no boys, right? So if there are no boys, then it must be entirely girls, the committee, right? So I have seven people, right? What's the probability that all are girls? Okay, that you can look at. Okay, same as no boys, same as that they are all girls, right? So that you can look at. Then what about two boys and one girl? So what's the probability that two boys and one girl, right? So that you look at. What's the probability of picking two boys from a number of whatever? You can leave it to you. At least one boy. So here it will be either one boy, two girls, two boys, one girl, or it can be all three boys, right? And more girls than boys. That means you can have two girls, one boy, right? Or you can have all three girls. More girls you should have, right, than boys. It can be two girls, one boy, or all three girls. So this problem I'm leaving it to you. Please go and try. Um, if you doubt any difficulty if it arises, please surely I'm there to help you out. Please do this.
Okay, let's try this problem. The problem is about a problem in statistics, which is given to two students, A and B. The chances in favor of A to solve the problem are 2 upon 5, and the chances um, um, against B in solving the problem is 5 over 11. What is asked is if both A and B attempt the problem, what is the probability that the problem is solved? Okay. Now the problem is solved first of all if either A solves or B solves or both A and B solves together, right? So let's look at that first of all. So let's define certain things. Let E1 be the event that A solves the problems, right? Therefore, probability of E1 it's given to be 2 over 5. Let E2 be the event that B solves the problem, right? So what is probability of E2 given to B? It's 5 over 11, right? So the problem is solved. The problem is solved. Problem is solved if E1 and E2, right? Uh, okay, first of all, remember this. Okay, so let's write that. Assuming that A and B solves the problem, solves the problem independently, we have probability that E1 intersection E2, that means both guys solves the problem, E1 intersection E2 would dependent events, right? So this would be probability of E1. This implies E1 and E2 are independent, right? Independent. Therefore, probability of E1 intersection E2 would be probability of E1 into probability of E2, which comes out to be 2 over 5 multiplied by, uh, sorry, yeah, in 5 over 11 comes out to be 2 by 11, right? Therefore, um, what happens is, now the problem is solved if at least one of them um, solves, right? So therefore, the problem is solved. The problem is solved if at least one of them solves. Therefore, what happens? Probability that either E1 solves or E2 solves, that is union, right? Union E2 would be probability of E1, probability plus probability of E2, subtract to probability of E1 intersection E2. It comes out to be what? 2 over 5 plus 5 over 11 minus 2 over 11. So how much this comes out to be? 2 over 5. This is minus plus, right? 3 by 11. So this comes out to be 22 and 15. So 37, right? 22 and 15 is 37 by 55. Then you can check what it is. Okay, right? So that's what we have, right? So that's what, or this can also be found out with the help of other event. What you can do is probability that either E1 or E2 solves is same as what happens that neither of them solves, right? So that also you can look at, right? Probability of neither of them solves. So what would be that, right? Probability of E1 union E2 is same as probability of 1 minus probability of neither E1 solves nor E2 solves, right? So this would be 1 minus probability of E1 into probability of E2. These are independent events, right? So that also you can find out, right? So you should get the same answer. You can check that out. Probability of E1, what you call complement of E1 would be 1 minus E1 was 2 by 5. So this would be 3 by 5, and complement of E2 bar would be 11 minus 2, that's 9 by 11. So what happens, this is 1 minus 3 by 5 into 9 by 11. So just check out how what this is. This is 55 minus 18, right, over 55. So this comes out to be how much? 20 and 5, so 37 by 55. So it doesn't really matter which formula do you use, you should get the same answer, is what the point is. I'll try to give you worksheets. For the time being, let's look at some definitions. Okay. We have mutual and pairwise independence of event. Mutual and pairwise independence of events. So let's look at what's mutual and pairwise independence, right? So definition, put that in a box kind of a thing so that you can recollect whenever possible. You can have that with you whenever you need. Let me use some nice marker, maybe white. It would be maybe yeah, this is better. Maybe even this is better. Orange will use. Okay. Mutual independence. Mutual independence. Let's look at what's mutual independence. Three events three events uh, three events oh, three events A, B, and C in a sample space S, in a sample space S of a random variable, of a random experiment, of a random experiment are said to be mutually independent, are said to be mutually independent, are said to be mutually independent if probability of A intersection B intersection C, right, is same as probability of A intersection probability of B intersection probability of C, right? And probability of A intersection B is probability of A probability of B, probability of A intersection C is probability of A into probability of C, and probability of B intersection C would be probability of B into probability of C, right? Okay, so that's what pairwise, oh sorry, that's mutual independence. Let's look at what's pairwise independence. Okay, so definition again, definition here, let's make a square again, right? Okay. So let's look at pairwise independence. Pairwise independence. Three events ABC, three events A, B, and C in a sample space S. In a sample space S of a random experiment are said to be pairwise independent, are said to be pairwise independent, are said to be pairwise independent if P of A intersection B is PA PB, P of A intersection C is PA PC, and P of B, right? Let's just B intersection C would be PB PC, right? That's called as pairwise independence. Okay, so we have mutual independence. If I look at the difference between them, then this is the difference, right? This is an extra term which is not present in. Let's look at this one. This guy is an extra term which is not here. So that's the definition, right? For mutual, right? Here it's just pairwise. A, B, A, C, and B, C. They are pairwise. They are mutual. You take any events, right? They are mutually independent, right? So let's take an example quickly, and then we would realize what they are. Okay. So let's take an example. So what we have is a balanced coin. Balance as in it doesn't fall on its. It's either head or tail, right? So a balanced coin is independently tossed two times. Okay. What we want to check is what of this. There are three events, whether they are pairwise or mutually independent, right? So let's look at this one. What is the first event is head appears on the first toss, second head appears in the second toss, and both yields the same outcomes, right? So first of all, let us write the solution, the sample space S. So I'm tossing two coins. So what are the outcomes, possible outcomes? Head, head, tail, and tail, right? So it's like that's my sample space is the sample space, right? Sample space. Let's write what is event. Okay, note that E1 head appears in the first toss, right? So this would be head tail or head. E2 head appears in the second toss, that is uh, tail head and head again, right? And E3 is head or tail, right? Isn't it? So therefore, for probability of A would, oh sorry, I'll let you use E and E2. what happens is probability of E1 would be exactly, there are 4 outcomes, so this is the 2 over 4, which is half. Probability of E2 would also be 2 over 4, which is half. Probability of E3 also would be 2 over 4, which is equal to half. Note the fact that probability of A1 intersection A2, right, or E1 intersection E2, whatever you want to call it as, right? Let's be very particular about this. E1 intersection E2, right, would be equal to, so if I look at E1 and E2, they have only one element in common, so this would be 1 by 4. Probability of E1 intersection E3, right, would be again this have only one element in common, and probability of E2 intersection E3, again they have same element in common, only one element in common, so it's 1 by 4. So these three are equal, right? Probability of A1 intersection A2 is same as this, same as this, same as this, right? Isn't it? Right. So let's look at this one. Probability of E1 intersection E2, right, is same as probability of E1 into probability of E2, right? Because this is same as 1 by 4 is same as, what is E1? Probability of E1, it's 2 by 4, that's half into half, which is equal to 1 by 4, right? So 1 by 4 matches up. Probability of E1 intersection E3 would be what would be this? This would be nothing but again this is 1 by 4, right? So this is also P of E1 into P of E2, right? As this is also, what is P of E1? P of E1 would be uh, exactly 2 by 4, that's half into half, that's 1 by 4. And similarly, probability of E2 intersection E3, that's 1 by 4 here, but this is same as probability of E2 multiplied by, oh sorry, this was E3, right? E2 into probability of E3, which is nothing but half into half, which is 1 by 4. So what happens is all these are equal. So what this means is, this implies that E1, E2 and E3 are pairwise independent, right? Pairwise independent. Pairwise independent. Let's write down pairwise. Yeah. So they are pairwise independent. But if I look at probability of E1 intersection probability of E1 intersection E2 E3, then this is nothing but, what is the common thing between both? Only one, right? Head, head, and head. So this is 1 over 4. This is not equal to probability of E1 multiplied by probability of E2 multiplied by probability of E3, which is nothing but 1 by 8, because everyone is half here, right? So half into half into half becomes 1 by 8, right? And this is 1 by 4. So what it happens is E1, E2 and E3 are not mutually disjoint. Sorry, mutually independent rather. Mutually independent, isn't it? They're pairwise independent, but they are not mutually independent. So what does it tell us from here? It tells us that, right? So let's write this into remark form. So observations we make from these two examples, let's put them in a very big box, right? So, and then put it in a nice kind of a shape, and then let's look at some color. Okay, so I was picking something to be red. So remark, first one, mutually independent event implies pairwise independence, right? Pairwise, not the converse, because this is an example. Pairwise independent. events. That's one. Second, what we observe is okay, if A and B are independent, take some remark, then so as A and B complement, right? If A and B are independent, then so as A and B complement. Okay. Third one, if A and B are independent, then so as A complement and B, right? A complement and B, right? Fourth one, if A, B, and C are independent, right? Events, then A union B and C are also independent, right? And fifth one, we see that if A and B are independent, then so as A complement and B complement, right? So these are the remarks which we take. Next up, the last part in this chapter, we would see what's inverse probability and what is Bayes theorem. Okay, and we would solve some problems on that. Okay, so till then, thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye.